Greetings, Darklings. 'Tis I, Toasted Heretic, and welcome to the last in our series of bands, 5 bands that Americans think are goth and us here in the UK do not. And we are now finally at number 1. You've seen the thumbnail, you know what it is. Strap yourselves in. Number 1, it's Depeche Mode. What? I hear you say, are you mad? They are obviously adored by goths worldwide. Okay, let's get a couple of things clear here. I understand that in Europe and the States, that Depeche Mode are very, very differently perceived than they are here in the UK. And I'm going to try and explain it here. But before I do, just remember that if you disagree with what I'm going to say, do let me know in the comments. Change my mind, but be polite and be civil and be nice. There's no reason to be rude or hurt abuse, any of that stuff. Just remember to keep it nice and polite and civil, because that's what we're here for, a good debate. And we all love music. I absolutely, make it clear, I absolutely bloody love Depeche Mode. I'm a huge, huge fan. So let's not, don't think I'm slagging them off or I've got anything against them. I think they're a terrific band. It is all about the way I feel, this is my opinion, the way I feel that Depeche Mode are perceived in this country as opposed to Europe and America. So, and I can kind of sum that up. I'm going to sum that up for you. So in the UK, do goths like Depeche Mode? Yes, I think most goths really love Depeche Mode in the UK. Not all, because that's a preference, but you get what I mean. Most goths in the UK really like Depeche Mode, but Depeche Mode are massive, yeah? Are all Depeche Mode fans goths? You see, no, not by a long, long way. And there's the thing. And that is a lot to do with their perception here. Before we go any further, let's do the goth score, shall we? So, we've got our goth scores for you. Let's go for it, shall we? So, marked out of 10, there's 5 categories. So, we're going to start with the black factor. How much black? Oh, bloody loads. I mean, but not always, and that is part of why that perception is different. But certainly for most of their time, they've been very much associated with black, a bit of leather, there's all sorts of weird caps and other strange outfits. But yeah, they do black well as well, they look really good. So I'm going to give them, as I say, not always, so I'm going to give them 9. Out of 10. Doom tune. How doomungous are Depeche Mode? Do you know what? Weirdly, for a band that have huge hits worldwide, they are actually quite doomy. I mean, don't really sing Happy Happy. Oh, they did. You see, again, that's part of it. There are some really like happy, happy, jolly, jolly Depeche Mode tunes. And there's people as well. So I'm going to give them 9 out of 10 for Doom tunes. Guy Liner, oh come on. God, they're really into that, aren't they? Really went there. And nail varnish, hair, eyeliner, leather. Yeah, let's give them 10 for the guy liner. I know they're not full bloody Sister Mercy or, you know, Christian Death or Alien Sex Feed or anything, but the audience they have is huge, and to be wearing guy liner and mascara and various other bits of makeup as well is amazing. And they sold it to the public. So go Depeche Mode. Death Disco. Have I ever heard Depeche Mode in a goth club? Have I been to a goth club and they've not played Depeche Mode? Would be a better question, because every goth club plays Depeche Mode. Of course they do. 10 has to be. Too funny. It's recording this in November 2023, just about to become December. Earlier this year, I was in Berlin and I went to a kind of alternative / goth / fetish club in Berlin, but the whole night was based on the music of Depeche Mode and music influenced by Depeche Mode. And it was a really good night. They played a lot of Depeche Mode, a lot of other sort of bands similar. It was packed. with Germans in black dancing away to Depeche Mode. But there's also a fetish thing to the night. All I'm saying is, there's only so many times I can hear Master and Servant. You get what I mean. And finally, Life After Death. How influential Depeche Mode? Have you heard the current wave of synth pop goth? I would love synth goth to be called. Can we invent that as a genre of its own right? Synth goth. Because I just think, it's terrific. I love it. But I really like synthy based goth music. I like guitar based goth music as well, but I'm not excluding that. I'm giving 10 because they really are a huge influence on that. So on my goth score, they've scored 48 out of 50, and I'm here saying not goth. Explain yourself, toasted heretic, or we will literally toast you. Okay. So back in when Depeche Mode first appeared in this country, they were embarrassing. They were very young. They had synth pop hits. I quite liked New Life. I will be happy if I never hear Just Can't Get Off. I just can't get enough again. Because it's been overplayed. Huge hit in this country. Their record label, and they've pushed them onto every TV program. Some of them really ill-advised. Like they did loads of kids' TV shows. I don't know if you had that in the States or in Europe, but children's TV shows. We're talking 8 and 9-year-olds all cheering as their favourite pop band perform. Later it'd be, Rick Astley and Kylie Minogue and all these people on their journeying away the hits. But Depeche Mode, one of those bands. There is infamous footage of them on a kids' TV show in the UK performing Just Can't Get Enough while holding chickens. That is a thing that exists. I mean, what were they thinking? Why did they took some bad advice? Then A Broken Frame comes out, and that I've changed songwriter. Martin Gore's writing the songs now. He really was Mr. Garland, wasn't he? And still is, of course. And I like A Broken Frame. I mean, the big hit was See You hit, and that's a lot more mournful, and it does get a little bit downbeat, but it's still got the meaning of love on it. Have you seen the video for the meaning of love? It is like, one day you go to the dictionary, look up the word cringe, and the definition will just be that video. Because, oh my God, it is just like embarrassing. And then they go and have a full rethink, and Construction, I know I'm skipping through the history, but I'm just getting to the point I need to make here. Construction Time again comes out. So let's just quickly talk about where the phrase goth comes from. Because everyone says that it's a fan-led thing. Obviously, a lot of the founding fathers of goth, Susan Mercy, Bauhaus, Susan Banshees, all famously refused to be called goth. They said, we're not goth, we're not calling ourselves goth. The fans called them goth. The press called them goth. And don't forget, goth came from the UK originally. Obviously, other parts of the world picked it up and ran off over the hill with it, and that's fabulous, right? But when it emerged from the UK, the music press are highly, highly influential. They gave it that tag goth. And when Construction Time again came out, the music press, who already hated Depeche Mode, they wanted bands with guitars, and they wanted them to be serious, and they wanted them to be angst-ridden, and they wanted them to be sweaty and play drums and be real men, not these fiddly made-up little synthy pop people. That isn't real music. That's how the press viewed it. The music press in this country, in the UK, hated Depeche Mode. When Construction Time again came out, they really hated that as well. And they hated it because they all knew about Einden Thrutzen Neubauten, the influential German band that made music out of banging bits of pipe and metal. And Depeche Mode were kind of influenced by that, and were on TV now banging bits of pipe and metal. Never mind the fact that Construction Time again has, of course, one of the greatest pop songs ever recorded, and Everything Counts on it. I mean, for me, I'm not joking, one of the best pop songs ever recorded. An absolute banger of a pop song. And that album is hit and miss, but it's always interesting. Here's the thing, that's when Depeche Mode went abroad. Over the first two Depeche Mode albums, and they were being a synth pop band, and were being very perceived as that in this country, they were just here. And by the time they went to Europe and America, it was circa construction time again. And everything they did, and they just got darker and darker and darker after that, didn't they? If you think about music for the masses, etc., right? So, Black Celebration says enough, doesn't it? I mean, that's what a goth album what is. I agree, by the way. I think that I've just scored them 48 out of 50 on goth score. You know? But they are perceived here as that. If you said to people at System, a Depeche Mode gig, they said to them, what sort of music we call System Mercy? They'd say goth. Susan Matthews, they'd say goth. Baz, they'd say goth. Depeche Mode, they'd say synth pop. That is how they are perceived here by most people. They are perceived as a synth pop band in this country. They're perceived that as a synth pop band the goths also like. While in the States and definitely Europe, and I've not really been to States much, but in Europe, which I've been all over, they're definitely perceived as an alternative or goth or whatever you want to call it band that have crossed into the mainstream. They are seen as an alt or goth band primarily that have gone into the mainstream. The other example of that, and which includes this country, of an alternative band, definitely goth, that have crossed right across into the mainstream in the rest of the world, and are perceived that way, including UK as I say, are The Cure. And at one point, that is the first time that Depeche Mode ever got any kind of recognition for the music press in this country, is when Violator came out. At that point, The Cure and Depeche Mode were jointly the biggest UK bands in America, if you get what I mean. They were the biggest bands from the UK that were really successful in the States and across Europe. And that's when the British press went, oh, actually Violator's alright, isn't it? Because, again, a bit more rocky, wasn't it? They'd take that, wouldn't they? And at that point, they started to acknowledge just how big Depeche Mode were. Of course, the rest of the world already knew that. It's just our tiny island that was ignoring that rather obvious state of affairs. So, that is why I think that Depeche Mode aren't perceived as a goth band in this country, but are in the States and Europe. Let me, if I haven't made it absolutely clear, say I think the States and Europe are right on this. Yeah? But what do you think, guys? Now remember, if you want to disagree, you want to argue, that's fine. We're all here for a debate. Let me know in the comments below. Just be polite. So as I said, this is the last in this series of videos. There are 4 other ones. Another one that's highly controversial. Let me know what you think. Go and see them if you've not already seen them. And there will be a lot more stuff coming your way from me, Toasted Heretic. So please do subscribe. I need subscribers. And you'll get to know, it's free, why not? You'll get to know what I've got coming out when it comes out. And please, if you're not already, do leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, then don't. It's easy enough, isn't it? And hopefully I will see you soon in the next video. Until then, adios. Mwah.